been at rock bottom. And
no, I think it's understanding, like, the gravity and the value of what you've just received or what you've done in relation to the cause and effect. Like, there's a cause and effect, and they both have to be equally weighted. And so if you get millions of dollars all of a sudden, you have to understand what has had to take place for that to occur, and it has to be of equal weight as that. And if you don't appreciate that, if you can't grasp that weight, then you don't understand the value of what you've received, and so you can never fully appreciate it and balance out the equation. And I think that is a whole lot of the problem with money at the moment, with, you know, inheritance and people being rich. Like, when you see rich kids growing up, there's no way that they're going to act in good favour with their money, because they actually don't know what the money even represents. They have no idea what it means. They don't get it. And I think this is something my dad probably thinks that I needed to learn.
Certainly, yes.
I think he would say that is the thing that created the money issues between me and my dad, is that he thinks I didn't appreciate money or knew what it was for. But it's just, I mean, who knows? I was young. I could or could not have. But I think the point is that I just didn't give a fuck about money as much as he did, which is still true. And I still get the value of money. I just don't care about it.
Well, I mean, the whole working, like, that's something that, you know, I was never really forced upon when I was a child, the whole working for money sort of thing. I don't think I was taught it properly, and I don't think, even if I learnt it properly. Like, I mean, I still don't look at me working as a form of me getting money to live my life. I only look at me working. That's why it's so hard for me to do jobs sometimes, because, you know, when I've made up my mind that the end is near, then I just, either implode the whole place, or I make everyone's life around me not good. Well, I used to do that because I was fucking immature, but
I know what you mean. That was always the way I was as well.
Yeah, but I just can't. I think it's crazy that. I think that's something that I missed out on a lot, like the fact that, you know, okay, so people go to work and they earn money, and then you get money and you do this with it and you do that. Like, I mean, I think it sounds stupid, but I look at it because I'm not working for money. I'm working because I'm trying to get a reward, or I'm trying to give something and receive something that's got nothing to do with money, and it's got something to do with life itself, or it's got something to do with the universe, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I'm not really too sure, but it's such a minor thing to do with money, which is why, you know, Tess can vouch, you know, I usually, when I've got it, I just give money away. Left, right, and centre. You know, I just don't give a fuck.
No,
about
yeah,
it,
you don't. You know, yeah, exactly. I mean, and I'm similar, but yeah, you're exactly right. Like, you're very generous, and you just don't see money as anything but a means to an end of what you can buy with it and enjoy it for, and you don't look for it as a means of satisfaction.
Which sucks for me.
But I think the only way that you're able to do that is if you have the freedom of mind to be able to let go of the fear of not being able to look after yourself. So because you're an extremely strong person, you know that no matter what happens, you'll be fine. And I'm not talking about that you'll never be without, or you might never be homeless, but you know that if that happens, that's just what's meant to happen, and you'll fight your way out of it. Yeah. And it's not about being in a job because you're fearful of not being in a job because you might go starving. It's about understanding, no, I'm here because, like, I've got purpose here, rather than just survival. I think that's the big difference. But then but not when people are able to do that, because I think that's a real strength of character thing to be able to do that.
Well, I think that's amazing way you put that, even though it makes me sound pretty good, but, like, it actually makes a lot of sense, because I've never thought of it like that before. Yeah, I mean, it's true, but, like, I mean, obviously I don't think of it like that. I'm you know, mental. I'm a tough fucker, so I can fucking get through this. Like, you just have to be. You just have to be and do, and you don't have to try. As soon as you start trying, you start worrying, and you know, things get out of control. And, like, you also got to, you know, influence people for negatively, and I always say a negative influence in person is just as important as a positive influence, as long as it's done as with an educated stance. So, you've thought about what this could and could not do to the individual because you understand who they are and where they come from and where you think that they should be going.
Well, that's a massive spectrum of...
Well, it doesn't matter. That can happen. That can happen in a 5-second thought.
No, but as long as you're talking about, there are going to be people who are good at that and people who aren't. So, it's talking about then, as long as the effort is put out there to use your brain to think about the cause and effect of your actions, that's all that matters. Whether or not you've come up with a theory of what's going to happen based on your assumptions of the person in front of you, as in a correct way or not, the fact that you've thought about it is enough.
Yeah.
So even if you've got idiots going out there blundering around, who aren't very good at reading people, but they go out there and they make assumptions of people and react and do things to get a reaction out of someone and change their life or whatever, or make them think about something, but they've completely misjudged the person and basically just offended someone.
They're called
assholes. That's all right? Well, then, but the thing is, they're doing actually, from their point of view, they're doing everything right, just as much as someone who, because that...
Well, usually the person who does that sort of thing doesn't think about it. They just do it. And they're cunts, they just do it, and they don't really care about the repercussions. As soon as you start caring about the repercussions, and you still continue to do it, that means you start caring about what you do before you make the repercussions happen.
And I think you're the perfect person to talk about this because you've done both.
yeah, definitely done both. But I mean, that's also like relating it back to the workplace. Like, I mean, coming from being a manager, I've learned the necessity of being able to do both of those things, being the caring and also being, it's time to fucking, this person has had enough opportunity, it's time to fucking cut them out. Like, and I'm not even saying fire them, but it's time to tell them the reality of what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
Because some people aren't born to lead, and some people aren't born to follow, and some people are just, a smaller amount are just caught in the middle, just trying to figure out which way they want to go, what they want to do. And you can see that. Fucking man, there are some people out there like where I'm working at the moment, like they're pretty slow.
Yeah.
That's what Henry says. Henry, my mate, he's a sales rep for, puts through some, good, really well, like trying to get incentives for companies so that they give him more money so that he can, sell more products. And like he goes, there's just no one else doing it, mate. I think there's just a lot of idiots out there. They just, well, for one, they don't give a fuck about their job, or two, they just dominate and they can't think that far ahead. That if I actually, send a proposal to these people, for interest sake, he was trying to buy seats at the football so that he could send clients there. But then what Harvey Norman said is they said, Harvey Norman is a massive electrical retailer in Australia, the biggest, and Harvey Norman said, we're about to approve the 50 grand for the seats, for the 4 seats in the Medallion Club. They said, we can't do it anymore because we know that no one in Harvey Norman is going to sell any other product apart from Acer, apart from your computer.
Because he's the
best. If we do this, because he's the one that's proposed this, and he goes, you will definitely sell more computers. People will try their arse off to sell your computers, which is going to be good for our business. But he said, we can't allow our staff to be that one viewed on your product.
I don't understand what you mean. Sorry.
Okay, so Henry tried to buy 4 seats in the Medallion Club for the AFL. Mm-hmm. So anyone at any given month...
on behalf of ASA?
He sent a proposal to a massive electronic corporation saying, Harvey Norman, saying, if you give me 50 grand, okay, I will give you more sales.
Oh, okay.
Okay, right. And then they said they approved it, and then they had a board meeting. They said then their staff would no longer sell any other computer apart from Acer.
Oh, okay.
And that's bad because the system needs is competition.
Yeah, right.
So competition is what drives, the industry. So he was so good at his job and everyone else is so bad.
Yeah, right.
That
he couldn't couldn't go to that next level to excel.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I think it's when you you hang around obviously in your own circle of the sphere of life, like your own circle of influence. You lose that. You don't have that ability to see things objectively, and especially the demographic surrounding you. Like I know when you drive a couple of hours out in each direction in Melbourne, you sort of there are completely different types of people living everywhere, and you forget that they're there. Like you really do. Like different types of people with different skills, different ideas, different cultures, and you know,
and it's an actual lifestyle. Like each little corner is like a lifestyle of Melbourne. Like Brisbane, not so much, but Sydney, I'm sure, is sort of exactly the same. But as soon as you start probably hitting about 4 million people in a city, then, 3 million,
little
4
pockets
million,
of societies.
You get these pockets that, like, fucking, grow up and and that's what really makes a place vibrant,
I love just being able to go, let's go to Footscray, and then you get to see like all this amazing food over there and markets and like cheap food.
Yeah, I have no fucking idea.
I'm from the West, so like that was a place where we'd go to sometimes, for shopping and stuff. But then you go to like Richmond, Victoria Street for Asian food, and then you got Lygon Street for Carlton. For Italian food. Like you got definite pockets of types of people everywhere, which is then you've got different types of workers too. So you've got all your tradies who live out in the suburbs. You've got all your corporate people who live in the inner suburbs. I'll tell you one thing, I fucking hate how we think that it's okay to drive 2 hours to work every day.
No, that's crazy.
That's crazy. We've got suburbs in Melbourne now that are actually about an hour and a half out. They're still classified as in part of Melbourne, like Pakenham. And Sunbury now is part of Melbourne too. It's out west, and people drive from there every day. And then imagine, it's just awful. And I bet you they hate their job. They drive all the way here. They hate their job. They go home. They get home at like 8 at night. Don't even get to spend time with their family. Then they have to go to bed because they have to wake up at fucking 5:30 in the morning to get to work again the next day on time. And it's like I think the number one thing I remember thinking this when I was really young. I decided quite early on that I will never forget to live my life, and I will never work so that I can that I can live. I will not. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's always a way around that, and that's you can disconnect from the fucking bullshit, from the what you're being sold. You know what I mean? You can disconnect from and I always relate that. Like, if worst comes to worst, one day I'll just save up 10 grand and I'll go and live in Thailand for a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fuck it. Like, I'm out. Like,
that's
what I mean?
the great thing about Australia, that freedom
I'm sick of this fucking bullshit, this day in, day out. If I'm in jobs that are pissing me off, I can't get something right, I'm just going to get the money I got, go and live like a king.
Well, that's what I do.
Somewhere else, or not only that, if worst comes to worst, like go and, live half your life or however long, you got your partner, your kids or whatever, and you go and live in a fucking country town.
I mean,
or something
that's
like
what
that,
I've basically, ever since I finished uni, which was 3 or 4 years ago now, or whatever, I've ever even tried to find a job that's remotely satisfied me. All I've done is tried to find a job which is going to get me enough money so I can leave again. And go overseas and have a good time. So I just come here, save my ass off, and then I go. Like, it's not about work. Isn't really why I'm going to work. It's so I can get money so I can live my life. Yeah. But I think what you're asking, the question you started this podcast is, what type of environment do you like at work? And I think I have a pretty good ability now, after all the casual jobs I've had, to be able to make my mind understand that it's there for a reason, and for that reason to override all the negative things that I hate about the jobs. Like, I worked as a customer service representative for Foxtel in a call centre, which was probably the most shit job I've had. But I actually enjoyed going there because I knew why I was there. I was saving for overseas, and so there's no question. Every day when I'm there, I want to be there. There's no like, it's nearly 5 o'clock and go home. It's like, whatever. I'm here for a reason, and that's that. And so it makes everything, you let go, and you're just there because you understand that's where you're supposed to be. Well, and I think the main thing though that makes everything better though is, like, I never really thought that this would be it for me, but I think it makes sense for everyone. Really, it should be it. It's just the people. Like, I actually liked going to work eventually because I had really great people around me. And in any job that I go to, I always hate starting a new job. I know you always say you love it, but I fucking hate it because it's always like I have to restart making friends. And I'm with making friends, I think I'm friendly enough, but I find it really hard that first initial stage with people because I'm not fake, and I hate small talk, and I hate the part of getting to know you because all the shit can I swear in front of you, like all that sort of, I know, but like those little things where you have to like sort of be on edge, and I hate that part. So when they get to a point where I understand the people around me and I'm comfortable at work, or in the social aspect of it, that is when I'm like, fine, I don't care what job it is, I can be there and be okay with it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, I mean, it's similar to me, but like that's why I had to get out of the last